Super Martio here. Welcome to another new album review. We should have been doing Gordon Lightfoot, but they have put back the release date for that live album. So this is one that I was going to be doing next week, so I just brought it forward a week. Easy peasy. And the band we're talking about are a band called Voyager. Now they're an Australian progressive metal band. They were formed in Western Australia, Perth, in 1999 by Daniel Estrin, Mark Baker and Adam Levikis. They've had a few change-ups and their first album came out in 2003. Now this new album, Fearless of Love, is their 8th studio album. And if you're wondering, I've heard this name before. Yes, they entered the Eurovision Song Contest for Australia. So this new album, I've had to give it a good listen. It came out on the 14th of July. I have listened to it more than I normally would an album because I wanted to do this review today. So, the band, as I said, is Danny Estrin on vocals, Simone Dow on guitar, Scott Kay on guitar, Alex Canyon on the bass, Ashley Dudecork on the drums. So the first track on this one is called The Best Intentions. Now when you put this on, the first thing you hear is like this dance keyboard thing, and I thought, oh dear, this is not what I expected when they are put up as a progressive metal. But then, boy, the vocal of Danny comes in, and then you get Simone and Kay come in, and Scott Kay coming in with some great riffs. And I thought, oh, this is more like it. Danny's got a very good voice, and it's a rock track, and I do like this. It's got a little bit of atmosphere. Absolutely terrific track to open up an album with. Then we get Prince of Fire. Again, it starts off like a dance record, but boom, in comes the drums, the heavy metal riffs. It's an excellent track. It's sort of half dance, half metal. It's an unusual combination, but it sort of works. Then the next track is Ultraviolet. Now this features an Australian singer called Sean Harmanis. This one, I must admit, is a bit poppy. But it's got that twist of heavy metal riffs being thrown in randomly. And you go, wow, this is different. And it's fresh. I've got no problem with it. You know, if you use dance rhythms properly, they can work. Then we get Dreamer. It's very commercial again, very poppy, with a through death metal doom riffs in there. It's just a weird sound they've come up with. The Lamenting's next. Now this is interesting. It starts off with some poppy keyboards, and you expect some young sprite doing the singing and all that audio cue and all that nonsense. But no, we get this great riffs, Daniel singing thing, absolutely brilliant. Then we get my favourite track on this album. It's called Submarine. Wow, what an arrangement! Killer vocal, the drums are great, some great riffs. I mean, watching that, I did one when I watched these on the Eurovision. Them two guitarists are out, you know, they give it 150%. It's absolutely killer song. And then we get the song they did perform at Eurovision, Promise. I always thought this was catchy. One of the best songs. It should have been higher than what it got. I think the vocals are great. It's a catchy tune, and I thought it was appropriate for Eurovision. Then we get Twisted, one of my favourite tracks on the album. It's got some killer guitars. The drumming's run. It's just a great guitar solo. Solid track. Then we get Daydream. This again starts off with that dancey sound, but then you get some nice vocal from Danny. Nice and gentle before the power riffs of Scott and Simone take over and drive it to the end. Then we get Listen. It's a good track. I like the bass line in it. The guitars sound right, and it's just a solid track. Then we get Gren, Fearless in Love. It's a bit of a power ballad track, really strong riffs, really good solo, and it's a solid track to end the album. Now, I was totally surprised by this. You know, that mixture of some dance sounds and progressive metal is different. I think this is a really good album. So I am now going to go and listen to the rest of their albums. So expect a album ranking at some stage. I think it's a weird and interesting combination. They're all fine musicians. Danny is a great singer. And I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of their albums. But for this one, I'm actually going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5 because I think it's just a little bit different. You didn't expect dance rhythms in when they said they're progressive metal. Okay, that's all for today, but we have got a special tomorrow, and it's I'm doing another show with Richard McCook, and tomorrow we're probably doing the biggest one that we've ever done. We're not doing a top 10 tomorrow, we're doing a top 20, and we're going to be looking at our favourite songs that only got to number 3 in the UK charts, period. It's not a decade, it's all our favourite number 3s that cover from the 50s. I think some of them are into the 90s as well, so we're covering it all tomorrow. So I look forward to that. If not, we'll see you on Monday, where we've got Empire, which is part 3 of Tony Martin's story, and when their classic album will be the debut album, self-titled, from Franz Ferdinand. Good luck for the England ladies tomorrow when they start their World Cup campaign. See you all soon. Bye for now.